Hello, I'm MK Davis. Pretty big earth there, isn't it? A lot going on. I'm concerned mainly about this one place today. Northern California, Bluff Creek. The Patterson film site. I've been hearing a lot about it lately. There's been a group that's claimed that they have rediscovered the site, and that it's well, let me just start here. All right. This is Bluff Creek right here. That's Bluff Creek Bridge. Let's go down there and look at it. Why, that's kind of distorted a little bit, but that's basically it. This little road right here goes up to Fish Camp, Fish Lake. This bridge right here was wiped out in 1964 with a 500-year flood. All of this cliff and everything slid during that time. None of this was like that. They had to rebuild the bridge. So it's all circa 1964 right there. Just a few years later, the famous film was taken. But the point I want to make, let me just go. Let's go back up, take a look at it as the general lay of the land. And you'll see that Bluff Creek flows generally from north to south. And why that's important, I'll show you in a few minutes. It's pretty rough country up in there, and it does a lot of twisting and turning, but it's mostly like short radius stuff. The general flow is from north to south. See right there is north. And it's good enough now. These satellite images are pretty good. You can almost recognize things down in there, even with the canopy and everything. But my point is, what I want to argue about, what I want to make a case for, is the location of that site, because people claim that it was lost and now it's found. But what's really odd is when they rediscovered it, they rediscovered it in a different place, northerly from where it used to be. And I'll show you why. I'll show you why I say that. There was a gentleman by the name of Richard Henry, who in 1967, in November of that year, was taken to the film site by Jim McLaren. Richard, real decent fellow, honest as he is, as the day is long, drew a map for Daniel Perez, showing a lot of detail. So, why Daniel Perez wants to move the site, I don't know. this was how it was from the get-go. When I first went down there, I talked to Bob Gimlin before I went. Bob told me this. He may not say it now, but he told me this. I looked him dead in the eye. He says, I really don't remember where it was. I hadn't been down there 30-something years when I went down there with Daniel Perez. Daniel showed me where the site was. I didn't know whether it was there or not. I couldn't disagree or agree. But I just went along with it. So there you go. That's how things get started in error. Okay, let me go back over here. Let's look at this map of Richards that he drew. All right. If you look, he's got the creek coming down here, flowing top to bottom. Northerly, he wrote northerly because he was aware that it does these little short radius turns, but the general flow is north to south. And he shows that they drove down there in a vehicle. In a vehicle to the film site. Look right here, it says, we parked here. Tracks start in opposite of creek. So we parked here, and right directly across the creek was a track that they had casted. Plaster cast taken. How did they drive down there in a vehicle? Well, there had to be a road. The only road going in there was the Bat Box Road at that particular place. It was a road, switchback road that takes you down there. It's just down there today. It's kind of messed up, but it's still there. The bat boxes were at the bottom. They did maintenance on them occasionally, studied the bats. And from there you could take a left and go south. This way. We parked here. He gives footage and everything, very detailed. 200, 300 feet. Said it was 60 to 100 feet wide. The gravel bar, very flat. Some sand down here, gravel up this way. They drove down there, got out. He said that right just a little ways from where they parked was a makeshift corral for horses. And he still had in it fresh hay. This was in November of '67. So the way they're claiming the site is now, you go down come in on the Bat Box Road, and you go north. All this is south. Northerly this way, south this way. Park. The fact of the matter is that the site has never been lost. And what the purpose is of trying to relocate it, and when I say relocate it, I mean literally move it. Your guess is as good as mine. But they get really mad at me for saying they don't have it. That's just tough. I believe in truth. You know, I don't know why there's so much subterfuge in this particular field of interest, but there is. And it could have something to do with the fact that it occurred around logging that was going on. There's some other reasons to look at too. We will look at them. Let me get off of here, and we'll talk a little bit about cables. Because you see, the Patterson film site was a logger's landing. Well, what is that? A logger's landing is a place where they pull trucks, big trucks, down into the creek, and they load them up, and then they drive them out to be milled or sold or whatever. And when you have a logger's landing there, you're going to have all of the debris field from whatever they're doing down there, which is loading those big logs. I'll show you some pictures. Let's see here. Now this is some researchers from Canada, John Green, Dale Moffat. They argue about who this is, so I won't even get into that right now. And then the dog. But look in the background and you'll see these big logs on a log truck and a big red Jeep right there. And this is the bed of Bluff Creek. So you see what I mean? Well, in the process of loading logs this size, you break cables. So you're going to see broken cables around that logger's landing. And you do. There's one I took in the bed of Bluff Creek. Pretty good sized cable, isn't it? There's another one right there. And they're everywhere down there because it's a logger's landing. When they went to build the road called the Go Road, New Orleans, not New Orleans, but Orleans to Gasket, they tried to build it in the bed of the creeks because it was easier to get stuff down in there. But they had problems with foul weather and floods, and it would wash their work away. So they moved it up to the ridge tops and proceeded from there. Here's a smaller one, still wrapped around some kind of log that's done got under it. You see what I mean? Go up to their site and see if you find any cables or leave behinds. Now, let's see. All right, up here. Let me see if I can get back on this Google Earth. There we go. If you go to all the way to the film site, I don't want to even get into that because it takes a long time to knock that one out. But I have done it. That's where I think I'm looking at it right there. I went ahead and put no, somebody else has put this pin there. It's probably their site. Well, let's see here. I'm going to see if I can find some other stuff on it. There we go. Here's some photos taken of the film site. This was taken by Peter Gattila in 1980. It's pretty easy to see this as the film site. So in 1980, they knew exactly where it was. Rene DeHenden had been there many times. Here's a picture of Rene and Peter Gattila together at the film site. It's pretty wide open in 1980. You see, they were doing a lot of logging there. Got a photo of that size. Look at the size of the logs in there. Now here's a picture I took right here in 2005, and this was at the lower end, the southern end of the film site. You kind of go through this little narrow place, and then there it is. It opens up. This is a picture that Peter Gattila took. I went ahead and blurred him out, but I have one that's not blurred. It's virtually the same. 1980 and 2005 hadn't changed that much, just a little bit larger undergrowth, as you would expect. Here's a picture of the film site looking from the north, looking downstream. You can see where that big flood, I think, caused some landslides back in 1964. Here's a road on the other side, coming down to the loggers' landing. We parked here. Remember that on the map? Here's some old pictures of it. That's the film site. I think this is from the 70s. There you go. I got me a whole bunch of these. So I guess my point is that the truth does matter. It may not matter that much to me because I look at it a lot differently. I look at it as the vicinity because I'm looking for Bigfoot. I'm not looking to go all the way across country to prove this spot was the spot. I'm looking for the vicinity of where Bigfoot hangs out. So it don't really matter that much to me, but it matters to some people apparently. And it is known where it is. Unless you want to go to the film site of your choice, but if the truth doesn't matter to you, you can just pick any old spot. You can call it your own. My own personal film site. But Richard Henry had it right. And there's other things too. I forgot to go and save the pictures that I wanted to show you, but let's see here. No, that's not it. That's not it. 2008, Bluff Creek, 2008. Hold on. See if I can find it. why that thing is doing that. It's not it either. Oh. I'm trying to find a picture of I took of Don Monroe high up on the mountainside, overlooking what I consider to be the Patterson film site, and we found some huge culverts that were thrown down the mountainside, and they were wrapped around trees and stuff, irretrievable, and that was said to have been done by Bigfoot. Well, we located those culverts. The amount of evidence continues to pile up about that film site. And what I want to do is to let you look at it and make up your own mind. Bigfoot country, rock slide. I've got lots and lots of stuff. There's so much that it's hard to even categorize. Two 2007. Behind Bluff Creek, 2007. That's not it. I'll have to get it another time. Should have been better prepared. That's Don Monroe there. We're up on the hillside. You see how steep it is, but if you continue to go up that hillside, you will find those culverts. And then you will find that the old logging road that came down there to the logging landing. All of it's still there.
like I said, this is a really rough terrain. It's not easy walking, and matter of fact, it's dangerous walking. Because if you trip and you fall here, you can go a long ways before you stop.
You sure would, because Don did it. He fell a long ways. Still with us, though. Let me go down here and see if I might have left it up here. Maybe that's it.
What does red mean recording?
Brand new camera. My first video camera, as a matter of fact. Let's just move it along.
That's why you're way out time.
Fire season at Bluff Creek.
I can see the print. Now, is this possible it's also bear? No. Bear could have been there. Sasquatch territory, we know that they're here. We know they've been here before, so we know that this could be could it also be just that? In our collection. Now, put two on top of that. 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe a fourth one under there. Is that possible? A bear track going up? It's possible.
Oh, yeah, that's always possible.
It's possible. 2 bear tracks and one on top of one another.
Yeah,
Well, I won't bore you with any more of this. I'll have to be better prepared next time and get all my ducks in a row. But I wanted you to see Richard Henry's map. Now, Daniel Perez, I know Daniel Perez knows that this map does not point to that northerly site that they're claiming now. What is reason for doing it? I don't know.
now you got to find a bone.
I can only guess. There's that cable.
You have markets. Do you have any markets?
No, I don't, but Don will be coming along.
We have to go to top of this. That's one too.
Yeah, I see that.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for me.
Yeah, this is the upper end of the
We'll,
side,
hold on, that
upper end
thing
of it.
is...
Yeah, this is it. There's the side. You see where it widens out? Yeah, this is the upper end of
Let
it.
me shut that one up and close this out. There, that's the star of the show this morning is this map right here. And I hope that you'll appreciate that Mr. Richard Henry drew this map. And because he did, we know this controversy came up. And it clearly shows that you have to go south from the Bat Box Road. And he went with a person who has been to the site many times, Jim McLaren. It's not much way to get it wrong. I thank you for your time.